So Phil, what would win in a fight? A shark or a rhinoceros? Rhinoceros.
Is the
What?
rhinoceros in the water?
So,
Is shark out of the water?
what if they met like in a pool?
Like in a pool?
Yeah, like
Like an
a
Olympic
kid
sized
pool,
pool? Okay.
kid pool. So like there's some water to
Well,
navigate.
I think in that case, I mean it's obviously shark. Shark has the tenacity. I think
Mm-hmm.
the rhino would wear itself out really quickly. It
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be able to get any good leverage on the shark.
I don't know, but I give the rhinoceros a puncher's chance
Hmm.
because he's got the big tusk.
Yep.
So I mean, I kind of feel like he just needs one good shot and it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's whether he can actually get that shot.
Hmm.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
Now, a shark and a suicide bomber, that's a different story.
Anyways, so we're going to be talking about the TV series Derek. This is a Brit show,
Yep.
I would say, because it's
7 episodes,
7 episodes. But
27-ish minute episodes.
hmm
The story of this is it's a kind of it's a documentary style, kind of like The Office. And that's I think pretty apt to use as a description because
hmm
it does have Ricky Gervais, one of the original creators of the original British Office. And instead of taking place in something like that, another similar like mundane esque job. It's in an old folks home.
hmm
It's kind of a transitional place. You know, people put their parents before they slip the mortal
Before they're
coil.
dead.
Yeah.
And
So
you do like The Office have cutaway interviews
mhm.
and things like that, so it's very much like that.
Yeah. This is this has a different feel, but it's shot very similarly.
Hmm
So it's hard not to compare the two, especially with Ricky Gervais working on both.
And let's describe the titular character a little bit, played by Gervais. He's kind of a knob,
Um, no,
or
see, that's the thing is I don't know. They
they
work
dance
really
ar-
hard not to define him.
they dance around whether he's mentally handicapped or not.
Yeah, which very much could be, but whether he's like autistic
Mhm.
or something else is what's going on.
I
Um,
don't think
they
he is.
they don't really touch on it too much. It is brought up once, and he just brushes off as
Hmm
and the
What
way he
does it
does it.
matter?
Yeah, what does it matter? I'm still the same person,
Hmm
so what does it matter if we take a test and I'm autistic or whatever?
hmm
And I thought they played that off really brilliantly. So and he's kind of the character. He's like the glue that kind of holds this place together. Like everyone looks up to him so much because he's just so kind and so positive.
hmm
And he gets on so well with all the elderly people. He's got this really childlike nature to him. Like he seems very. I mean, obviously he's
Well, he's a simple person.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's a really good description. Like he just seems very simple and not necessarily in a dumb way, just in a very he's got simple tastes.
Hmm
He cares about what he cares about, and he really cares
Like
about
a
people.
like a hamster on a piano.
Yes, he loves hamster on a piano. It's really good.
Yeah, I think I think you described him pretty well. Let's describe maybe to describe the setting a little bit. He's kind of like the leader of the Island of Misfit Toys.
Hmm.
This old folks home is very like the staff and the old people are very much like discarded
Like cast
people,
offs.
you
Yeah.
know, and the old folks home ends up being like a bubble of just a place where they can all relate
Hmm.
and get along, and it's like their own little world.
There's no judgment in an old folks home.
No, I mean,
Everyone's been alive for like you have the people that have been alive forever,
hmm
and then you have the people who their job is to take care of these people, and they care very much about doing
hmm
that. So nobody's judging anybody, which is good because you have kind of a cast of characters
hmm
here. You have Hannah, who's probably the most normal character.
hmm
She's the person who
director.
yeah she's the director of the home. You also have Doug, who is the caretaker and repairman.
hmm
He is very Dwight Schrute-esque in his mannerisms. He's very matter of fact.
hmm
He's got this great hair.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, but you just kind of have to see it, and just very not humorless,
hmm
but he seems like he tries to be a real very much a realist.
Well, I'd say curmudgeon.
Yeah, a very get off my lawn. You kids are having too much fun, kind of guy. And you also have Kev, who is, I believe at one point they mentioned he's homeless. He is kind of staying with Doug.
He's very crass.
Yeah, very crass.
Uh,
He talks a lot about sex. He's always drinking. And he just hangs around the old folks' home.
I believe he's
Being
employed.
crude. I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know
he
if
is
he's.
employed.
I couldn't figure out if he actually
I'm pretty
was.
sure. He is,
Okay.
yeah.
And if not, I mean, I think they would let him hang out anyway. Because I mean, really, I mean, the more the merrier. When there are people that need people to hang out with.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the setup of this thing. I think a lot of the drama of all the episodes is when people enter the bubble from the outside. And they're either people that kind of find something there, or they're people that everybody else just wants to push out as quickly as possible because they're an a-hole. There's not really a lot of in between. It's either somebody just completely having a moment and they're like a good person and they're rediscovering themselves, or they're just complete jackhole and they get told off and pushed away.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things I really like about Doug. he really comes through a few times and really like just lays it out.
It's like, no, you're a fucking asshole.
It's like,
Leave.
fuck off.
Fuck off.
You done what you're gonna do here.
Yeah.
I'll beat it.
So we described it hopefully pretty well there. We took a while to do that, but now that we got that out there, what do you really like about this show, Phil?
I like a few things. I know I definitely liked it a lot more than Craig, and one of the biggest things for me is I found this surprisingly funny, and I say surprisingly because I don't like Ricky Gervais very much. I find him completely abrasive, and I like some of the things he's worked on before. I really like the original Office.
I love Extras.
But
by the way. I
man,
don't know if you've ever seen that. But.
yeah, I haven't. It's just his brand of humor is it's awkward. It takes awkward sometimes to an extent that I don't like. He's usually so mean. And I think what I really liked here, and I'll talk more about like the general tone of the show, but
this is the antithesis to
yeah,
a lot of what he's done in his career.
Yeah, he brings the just kindness to this, and he plays his damn character so well. Like you figure there's something like genetically wrong with him, but there's nothing wrong with him as a person. Like he is like just kind of like an ideal kind of person, just super nice, very forgiving, just has nothing but care in his heart for other people, and it's refreshing because so many characters nowadays, like there's so many shows, even like your Arrested Developments and you're The League and whatever shows where the big draw is the characters are just such assholes, and they're endearing in that way because everyone knows those kind of people. But you get so many, so few shows where people are just genuinely nice, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's also really funny, and I like the way that it's funny. Is there's a few characters that are basically the comic relief, including Derek, but the punchline is never Derek's handicap. It's never the people being old, it never seems to be because a lot of things like this that would be the running joke, like, oh, look how old these people are.
Yeah.
And there's some of that, there's the one lady who can't ever remember who she is or who
but it's not none of this is mean spirited.
No, at all. Like it all feels like it's coming from such a good place, and you just don't see that I feel like that's really absent from a lot of TV and movies, and it's just really refreshing in that way. And there is a lot to laugh at in here. Just like Kev and Doug and Derek get into just some dumb shit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of funny. I mean, these are people that know how to do comedy. I don't feel like they do enough comedy in a comedy series.
Yeah. There's a lot of sad in here too.
yeah, there is, and I don't mind that per se, but you're right. There are some very genuinely funny moments, and you don't feel bad about laughing about them. And just and silly things like Derek loves animals and everything to do with animals and YouTube videos about animals.
Yep.
And just watching him watch a video about a hamster on a piano. Or a monkey riding a dog.
Yeah, I like that they kept those in, and I like that they kept them like they really like wrote them out, because that could have been like a 10-second clip, and we would have gotten it but like just like watching his face is really enjoyable.
Hmm.
And it's weird because again, I don't like Ricky Gervais very much, so it was weird liking him being on screen.
Yeah, and so I mean, I laughed a lot genuinely, which is awesome. A lot of TV series can't do that,
Hmm.
and they do that well here.
Yeah, part of what I was saying before is I feel like this is just really this show has some good messages to it. It's just they keep going back when especially when they do their interviews, they'll do like different characters, and it seems like everyone really looks up to Derek because he's so kind, and that's kind of the message of the show is just like being kind to people and like so many of these people are just cast off, but there are people that are generally they care about them and they're taking care of them and just like and they get a lot out of that. And people that come in from community service programs, like they're really like hardened when they come in.
Hmm.
They're
They
like,
don't
oh,
want to be there.
this is bullshit. But by the end of it, I mean, you might have some opinions on how it's portrayed on here, but by the end of it, like
Their life is changed
their life has
forever.
changed, and they learn.
After spending 5 minutes in the home.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna disagree there, but yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe their passage of time for that sort of thing maybe is a little out of whack, but I think overall it just feels very sweet, and for me it doesn't feel sweet in a sappy way, and I know it does for you. It doesn't feel sweet in like a gross way. Like a lot of things will just really like a Hallmark movie really like slap it on, and I didn't feel that here.
I don't understand how you don't feel like
It
that
it
because
felt it felt genuine to me, and I went in, especially after you told me that. I went in and I was really expecting that, and I saw it, and I'm like,
I don't know how you can get that. I thought you were gonna hate this because
me too.
as a person that hates like very maudlin things, this
Yeah,
is
and
incredibly
I hate
maudlin.
people. I
This
don't
is
like old people. I don't like really sappy shit.
I
And
don't
this had
know
all of that, and I just
what.
it was whatever the blend is. Just worked really well for me. The proportions were good, and
I just don't know how you have that relationship with it. There is a lot of just overly sappy things for me. A lot of things that are just so sugary, and they're done well. They're done very well. Some of them are very affecting. Some of
mm,
the stories that happen when one of the old persons dies that Derek is really attached to.
I straight
Um,
up teared the fuck up that first
and
episode
fair enough.
hard.
There's a lot of those moments that are really, really good, but they keep happening one
Yeah,
after the other, one after the other, one after the other, and then there's all these montages and like thick music,
yeah.
emotional music, and it just never ends. And it's just like consistently maudlin throughout the entire fucking thing. If they just would have backed off just a little bit, they only needed like a few of those moments for
I
this to work.
I can see that, but for me
It just
who
goes way over the top.
I just felt like it was I thought it had a good tone. It just I found it to be a little more even, and
I did not. I This is way over the top.
I one of the things I liked also is I mean you mentioned the music. The music was there, but I felt like a lot of times the show was just really quiet. Like the music would kind of be there, but it was in the background. It was just like general like people are sitting around and old folks on music. And the show just came off as like really quiet, especially when they do their like confessionals and like everything is said and there's very little like background noise and it just feels very like just very stark. So that like it has more of an emotional punch to it.
I completely disagree. I don't think it was quiet at all. There was always like music, like pushing you into having an emotion, just like kicking you down the hill. Feel this, feel this, feel this now. Feel it,
I felt all
feel
of it.
it.
I felt all of it so hard.
And I'm just gonna all the characters. I'm gonna have a silent pause. I'm gonna put water in my eyes and make you feel something.
Yeah.
It's like
I did, but I did, and I feel like the show. There's so many emotions. There's just so much emotions all the time. There's so many feelings.
and that's why
You're
it's
gonna
so
feel.
over the
You're gonna
top.
feel so much stuff. Yeah, and I can see that. Like for me, it hit me at a good place. But yeah, I think your your thoughts are valid. Like I could definitely see it like that. I don't. That's not how I took it, but I could see people thinking it's a bit much, a bit thick,
Well,
a little syrupy.
can I talk about a few more other things that I don't
Yeah,
like?
go
Is
for
that
it.
all right?
I would love it.
And you can disagree. Feel free.
I will. I always
Derek,
do.
Derek's character is there's like nothing wrong with him apparently. Like he never does anything wrong. It seems like he's always the sweetest person in the world. Everybody around him and all the confessionals are like, oh, he's the best. He's blah blah blah. He changed my life. He's so sweet. He's the best person. And it's like you just have these interviews about him over and
Hmm.
over again, like telling me about how awesome he is.
Hmm.
And it's just like one of those things. Like just show it, don't tell it.
Yeah.
Just stop. Like I get.
Well, they do show a
It's
lot
like
of that,
they
but
make him
like,
seem like this magical guy,
yeah.
this like pixie that came down to like spread love to the world. I mean that's kind of how I feel. Like they were just building it up to that level.
Yeah, and they do lay it on a little thick
A
there. Like,
little. I mean a little. I mean come on. This is like just a
I
dump truck of sugar
yeah,
and
yeah.
cotton
This
candy
is this
and
is
rainbows
very
and unicorns.
this is a very sweet show. I mean, this is one of those shows I'd if you want to feel good,
I've
I
never seen
guess.
anything this maudlin ever. I've
I
never
don't
seen
know about
anything
that.
that is just so syrupy.
I don't think it's in a bad way though. Like it is. I just thought this was a little something special, and I.
Ah.
So we're on dislikes at this point. So why don't you lay out some of the other dislikes you have here?
Well, another thing that I dislike is I don't feel like any of the episodes have any structure or plot, or they do, but they kind of have like a general concept of a story, but they don't really have a good narrative.
Mm-hmm.
None of the episodes were written particularly well. None of them were directed particularly well. There's all kinds of montages throughout the entire thing just to waste time,
It
apparently.
made me feel like it felt very real in that way to reality TV, not to like reality, but to like reality TV where because this is kind of like the setup of the show is very much how a lot of those are. Like, okay, or at least in theory, we're gonna show a day in the life or whatever, and they throw on like the cheesiness there,
Yeah.
like, oh, let's show some montages of people working together and whatnot. So you kind of get that here, but
Well, to me, it feels like they improvised the
mhm.
entire thing. And this is not a show where you can do that. I feel like you have to have a structured story to make it work because you're doing all these things over the top. It's not like a reality show. There's so much music and emotion trying to be shoved into this thing that you kind of have to have a better structure to allow these characters to like have growth. It just seems like things happen and then they're like starting to cry.
Hmm.
I mean, it's nothing like uh, there's just no growth. I mean, they don't allow things to happen. It's just
None of
this is
the
like, oh, a
well,
person died, cry,
not
cry,
among
cry, cry. Tell a story about how much you love them, cry, cry. Music interlude, cry.
I feel like
I mean, it's just like, come
I
on.
feel like all the growth here is for side characters. None of it's for main characters because these people have already grown into a place. You have like what's you have like the community service people. You have the Hannah's kind of boyfriend or whatever. Like they're the people that have to grow, not the people that work here because these people have enough on their fucking plates. They don't need to be
Hmm.
growing.
Hmm.
You know. You mentioned ham and eggs.
Yeah, this is so hammy. I mean, come on, man. I mean, this is like watching the first 5 minutes of Up over and over again on
Oh,
repeat.
rough.
And in and of themselves, the first 5 minutes of Up is amazing.
Mhm.
And it's great. But you don't keep putting it on that loop. I mean, through the entire 7 episode run.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. They just kind of looped it. And a lot of the stories throughout the 7 episode thing were not original. They seem to repeat themselves.
Hmm.
And it just didn't work
I
for me.
just I just feel like that makes it more realistic in my mind because
Well,
that's how life is. Like it's very similar circumstances happening over and over again,
okay,
which
fine.
might not make great TV.
One other thing before we get into rating this TV series, I want to say that I really didn't like Ricky Gervais's performance as Derek.
See, now I
I
thought
did
that was one of the best things.
really. I mean, this he plays this. I don't understand. This character doesn't make sense to me. The things that he does, it just doesn't seem like a natural person. It doesn't seem like somebody.
You, sir, are prejudiced
I am not prejudiced.
against people with mental handicaps. Let's say.
No, I'm just saying this isn't Dustin Hoffman playing the
Yeah.
Rain Man. I mean, this is like a very like kitschy performance by Ricky Gervais. It seems like Ricky Gervais playing a slow person.
Yeah, but it totally works for me because
It doesn't for me. It's just like he's doing this thing with his jaw. He's got this weird hair. He
As
runs funny
as
for no apparent
somebody
reason.
as somebody who
I've never seen a person like this in real life, is what I'm saying.
even just being like on the bus, I see a lot of handicapped people, and I would say this is a pretty good portrayal of a handicapped person. Like they have very like a lot of times a very distinct, personality or like traits or whatever, and it gets really played up. And I think that's all he does here is he's got a few like things, the mouth thing, and
It doesn't work for
it
me.
all totally works for me. I want to have people that have worked with handicapped people watch this,
I don't. I think they would
and
be like,
see
"What?"
and just see if there's any
For
amount of
me,
realism from them, because I totally see it. I
I
totally
don't.
see
I
it.
don't. I mean, I feel like I've spent enough time around people of all different stripes, and I've never seen a person like this. I just feel like this is a construct that has very
Ah,
little basis in reality.
boo, boo.
You don't feel like
Not at all.
this is Ricky Gervais playing a character.
There are Ricky Gervais things such as the way he looks at the camera, which very much feel like him. But like overall, like I thought all these manners, I thought it made it feel like a more real character having all of that together.
I completely feel the opposite way. Why don't we go ahead?
That was me
You wiping
touching.
your brow?
Yeah, no, touching, doing the hair that he has. Yeah. Oh, I just need an old woman to pat my head. That's all I want.
All right. All right. Why don't we go ahead and agree to disagree and give some ratings on this TV series?
All right, so I will give probably a less popular opinion here. I'm gonna give this a 4. I really liked this. I was really shocked because one, I hate Ricky Gervais. Two, you had already told me you had finished it and you thought it was just really like sappy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, ugh.
Which it is.
Yeah, which I will agree. It does have some sugariness to it. But yeah, I put it on and I really liked it. I was shocked. Maybe I like it so much because I was surprised that I liked it. But yeah, definitely. I'm gonna recommend this to people.
Mm.
I
Well,
It's a really short run too, so I mean, you might as well. It's gonna kill like 3 hours of your life, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna completely disagree with you. I'm gonna give it a 2. Um, well, here's the thing. I wanna give this TV series some kudos because I feel like there's a lot of good here,
Hmm.
and this could have been a really good series. But I think it's bungled. I think Ricky Gervais is not a good director. He should not direct his own things.
Okay,
I
that's
think
fair.
this would be much better in somebody else's hands. There are a lot of good characters and a lot of good moments and things that I really enjoyed
Hmm.
about this, but it's so aggravating that it's not put together in the right way to make it a good TV series. So that's why I give it a 2. It's just not put together. It's not
Hmm.
distilled properly, and that's the basis of my 2.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's a divisive television show.
I guess so.
Fuck you, Ricky Gervais.